Good morning. My name is Upasana Bhattacharya, and I head the Curriculum and Training Department at the Infinity School. I welcome you all to a 15 to 20-minute session over this video to discuss something that, at the face value of it, might look deceptively simple and plain, but I hope when we delve deeper, you have more concrete takeaways. So, we'll discuss how to make our schools and, at the present moment, our homes effective learning zones. Let's look at a very common scenario. Most students want to do well academically and they work hard for it, but many are unable to score good grades. As parents, we push them to work harder next time. Teachers too tell them to do so. And children do. They practice a lot on worksheets, they take tuitions, online courses. So they listen and work harder. For some children, scores improve, but for many others, scores don't improve that much. And the cycle continues. Over a period of time, they start feeling that their hard work is not yielding results. In about 2 to 3 years, such children would mostly stop working hard in areas that they don't see a positive outcome of their effort. During this time, mental blocks start building about the subject. And in such cases, constant meaningless practice harms such children's belief about their ability to do well in a particular area. This is true for all subjects, but especially for math and physics. So take a minute to look at this cycle. After a couple of rounds of putting in effort and not getting the required outcome, self belief of a child starts getting affected. The fact that if I put in effort, I will do well, they don't believe in that anymore. So mental blocks start forming and they will put less and less effort. And once you do that, you've lost an opportunity to learn. And not just children. Most of us go through life trying to do the best in our job, family, with our children, relationships, in whatever we do essentially. Now, we don't just get better by doing the same things over and over again, or by spending more time, or by working harder on them. This stagnation, despite hard work, is pretty common. Let's try to get some insight into why that is and what can we do about it. What we can do is emulate the most effective people and teams from different domains. These people deliberately spend their lives alternating between two zones, the learning zone and the performance zone. The learning zone is where our goal is to improve. So the activities designed are for improvement. We concentrate on things that we've not mastered yet, and mistakes are to be expected in this process. But in our performance zone, our goal is to do things to the best of our ability, to showcase the skills that we've mastered, minimize our mistakes, and aim at flawless execution. Both these zones should be part of our lives, but knowing when we want to be in which zone helps us to be very clear about our goals and expectations. So, when we're in the learning zone, we can expect to grow and improve our future performance. But when we are in our performance zone, we are mostly focused on doing the best and our immediate performance. Let's delve deeper into understanding more about these two zones. We'll watch a video now. I want you to watch the video and come back, and then we'll discuss. that was Usain Bolt, the fastest sprinter on earth. Which zone was he in? His performance zone, right? He was clearly looking to win that match. So that's Usain Bolt's performance zone. Let's look at how his learning zone looks like. So we'll watch another video, and here I need you to do a few more things. There'll be two people in the video. I want you to take notes about what these two people are doing, saying, and feeling. Right? So, what are these two people doing, saying, and feeling in the video that we watch?
Shoulders down. That's it.
Dying. I think a lot of people just they see you run and they say, "Oh, it looks so easy. You really look effortless." But before it gets to that point, it's hard. It's like hard work. Day in, day out, sacrifice. Day in, day out, just dying. This time when you run and you just want to stop, you just want to give up. Like to hell with this, I just want to go home. This day when you get up and you know what you have a training today, you know it's gonna be intense, and you're like, "Oh God, I don't want to go today," but you gotta go. And it's so hard, and a lot of people don't know. My coach always says, in a couple of years, we're not gonna have any track because we're gonna take all of it home.
We are not used to seeing you suffering.
That's why you guys are here. Show the true story, innit?
This here is the reality? Do you mean that the competition is not the reality?
Listen, the work is behind the scene. Competition is the easy part. Behind the scenes is where the work is done. And everything is done to get to that one race that you need to run.
I think I saw him once training. How I felt it that day. He was vomiting and he looked stressed, and I really felt it and said, "Son, I didn't know you got to work so hard, because that was some hard training." So I prefer not to be there because it's not easy to watch him train, because it's really tough.
You saying you all right?
Yeah, coach. See your conscience speaking. Don't do it. Stop running. Retire. Go play football. Go play golf.
So that was Usain Bolt's learning zone. What did we see? I'm sure you saw a lot of practice going on, sweat, hard work. It was a training ground. Clearly, there was Usain Bolt and his coach. The coach was giving motivation, coach was giving feedback. So you would have heard something like when he was running, the coach was said something like shoulders down, and then he also corrected. So correcting that mistake, and then he went on to acknowledge when there was correct behavior. He Usain Bolt later reflected that this is very hard, right? But the hard work is behind the scenes. He says that most of the days I would want to stop and give up, but I do make it a point to go there because this is where the real work is. And I'm sure that you saw in the end of the video, you saw the look on the coach's face, right? The struggle that he was in terms of whether to let Usain struggle in that training ground or whether to let go for that day, right? Um, so Usain Bolt's learning zone looks like this. Let me bring you back to our classrooms, our schools, which are supposed to be learning zones. So, if our schools and classrooms are supposed to be learning zones, what should they look, sound, and feel like? What will we see, hear, and feel happening in these classrooms? You would definitely see teachers teaching new skills and concepts, students practicing those concepts. Now, here, the key word is deliberate practice, which is very different from regular practice. Dr. Anders Ericsson defines a deliberate practice as breaking down abilities into smaller component skills, making sure that children are stretched beyond their comfort zone to achieve these scaffolded tasks, achieve these scaffolded activities, so that they attempt each skill and then go off to attempt the overarching ability. So, in this process, we should definitely employ experts or teachers who know where the student's comfort zone is, what should be the stretch of the activity, which is much required for the student to learn the next skill. And in this process, also give targeted, specific feedback to improve. You would see a lot of hard work and struggle happening, both on the side of teachers and students. You would definitely see an atmosphere, an environment where mistakes are welcome, where mistakes are normalized, because that's how we learn. When we make a mistake, the neurons fire in our head, and we know that when we make the mistake next time, we will not take that path. We'll remember and try to figure out another strategy. So, mistakes actually are neurological evidences of learning, right? So, welcoming mistakes is a key component of a learning zone. This leads to mastery based practice. A lot of coaching, mentoring model you will see between the teacher and the student, where the teacher tries to find out the root cause of issues like lack of understanding, lack of concentration, lack of motivation, lack of interest, right? What could be the root causes of these? Through focused reflection and asking a lot of questions, teachers get to the root cause and try to address those issues. Praising the effort that the child is putting in. The right kind of praise has the capacity to make or break a child's mindset, right? When you appreciate a child because he or she is smart, versus when you appreciate a child for the hard work and effort that he has put in, it will put these two students on two different paths. Somebody who goes on to believe that because I'm smart, everything is supposed to happen on its own, versus somebody who goes on to believe that because I've put in effort, I've achieved this, and if I keep doing this, I will keep achieving my goals. So, the right kind of praise. You would see grit from both the teacher and the students. Grit in the sense persevering in the face of either failure or tiredness and not giving up until the goal is reached. Growth mindset, what I spoke about, is the belief, the core belief that if I put in efforts, I will improve and I will achieve my goals. And a lot of high expectations. Now, here, high expectations doesn't mean high marks. High expectations means the goals. You remember, I was talking about comfort zones and having goals right outside the comfort zone. So, the goals which stretch us, expectations that we have that we can reach this goal, which is just beyond our current comfort level, is high expectations. Let's not equate high expectations with high marks or high grades. So let's take 30 seconds and look at the terms that are on the screen, because each word means very deep pedagogical practices which differentiate a classroom as a learning zone versus a performance zone. Let me give you an example. So if we give a task to your child, say write an essay on a particular topic, you would rarely see us grading that essay with an A plus or an A minus and putting some ticks and crosses or pointing out some spelling mistakes and leaving it at that. Instead, you would see our teachers writing specific scaffolded feedback which specifies the strengths and areas of improvement for the child very, very clearly. So you would see something like, say, the subject verb agreement in your sentences were perfect. So we had talked about it in the last feedback and you worked on it. And it would be better if you could use words like extraordinary, phenomenal instead of amazing. That would be better vocab for your essay. So you would see very specific, scaffolded feedback for all tasks that are given. Here, I would like you to reflect on the current Google Classroom assignments that your child is receiving and the kind of feedback that your child receives on those assignments. There are very clear indications that we consider these assignments as learning, as parts of learning. So we would encourage you to let your children make mistakes. Don't stop them from making mistakes. Let them explore, experiment different strategies, whether it's right or wrong is secondary. The teacher is there to help or guide in the right path. But allowing that atmosphere of exploration is something that you can do at home rather than giving out the correct answer or tuning the mind to a particular strategy that you think is right is something that you can hold back and let it be a learning zone, right? So given that we spoke a lot about the two zones, learning and performance zone, and how most of us almost always spend our lives in performance zone, and this boils down to our students also. A lot of students in the schools feel pressured to perform at every moment of the day. If I say a wrong answer, I will be judged. If I make a mistake, my friend will think less of me. This culture of mistakes as something to be frowned upon has to go away. If we want our kids to really learn, if we want to focus on learning and not performance, performance has its value definitely, and there are times of the year where you would want your children to perform. There are times in life when you will want your children to perform, but not in, say, up to class 5. That's very, very key where it's only learning, right? Exploration, experimentation, exploring the curiosity that every child has innately in them is what leads to learning. And once we keep learning, or once we have these facets or these mindset that contribute to learning, we become lifelong learners. See, I'll give you a very relevant example from now. All adults are being forced to learn technology. Now, some of us adopt it quickly because we want to learn. And some of us complain that "Ye kya ho raha hai?" We can, why can't we go back to our old ways? Why can't we try, writing on paper? And you would see our children are much, much more quicker at adapting new things. They are much more flexible. Let's not kill their flexibility. Let's not kill their curiosity. Let's not kill their exploratory instincts. That's what will lead to learning. So, what is something that you would do differently to ensure that right now your home is a space which is a learning zone? Think about it and let us know your answers. You can write to us at info@theinfinityschool.org. I would look forward to receiving your responses, and I'm very sure we'll meet soon. Till then, take care, keep safe, and stay home. Namaste.
एनीवे एग्जाम्स आ रहे हैं, बड़ा मज़ा आने वाला है. आपको 9th स्टैंडर्ड में कितने मार्क्स मिले थे? चलो कॉलेज में. बाप रे, वो भी नहीं याद. नहीं याद ना. मुझे तो सिर्फ 59% मिले थे, पर फिर भी आज मैं आपके बच्चे की स्कूल की प्रिंसिपल हूँ. ऐसा कोई रिपोर्ट कार्ड आज तक बना नहीं है जो एक बच्चे की काबिलियत बता सके. रिपोर्ट कार्ड बताते हैं तो कुछ नंबर जो वैसे भी किसी को याद नहीं रहने वाले। मार्क्स छोड़िए और सीखने पर जोर डालिए।